Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar from the January Metals Investor Forum, and we're doing a virtual interview with Mike Allen of a Strikepoint. Strikepoint is a grassroots explorer, of precious metals in the Walker Lane belt of southwestern Nevada. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate you coming online. And maybe we can start off with, how did you, I know you've got a lot of experience in Nevada. You sold a company there, so a little bit of the background and then how you got involved with Strike Point and then pivoting to this Cuprite project.
Right. So you hit on a lot of points there, Joe. I became CEO of StrikePoint November 2nd of 2022. Part of the board of StrikePoint was also on the board of a company called Northern Empire. That was a previous success that I had in Nevada, where we acquired something called the Sterling from Imperial Metals. We bought it for $10 million. 16 months later, we sold the company for $120 million to Coeur Mining. That was the sort of real getting myself into the corporate side of the Walker Lane and doing that sort of work. Walker Lane right now, in my opinion, is heating up. Subsequent to me doing that deal with Coeur Mining, they turned around and flipped the property to Anglo Gold. They sold it for $200 million. And then also in the area, Anglo Gold bought Corvus for $370 million. And then just to the north of our Cuprite project, Centerra bought an asset from Waterton. It's called Goldfield for up to $230 million. So a lot of history personally in the area, and then a lot of M&A activity that's happened since 2020 in the area as well.
Yeah, we all are familiar with the fact that Nevada is one of the best primary jurisdictions for exploration in the world.
Yeah.
Continues to be. So let's get to the Silicon Merlin, sorry, deposit that Anglo Gold. I visited it, so
Yeah.
a bit about it, and why you think Cuprite might be an analog.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. When Anglo bought my old property, they actually gave a presentation here in Vancouver on it, and I sat beside a guy by the name of Patty Nichols. And Patty, as you know, his group staked the Silicon and flipped it to Anglo. And Patty and I were sort of having a bit of a laugh. We've known each other since 20 years or more in the Vancouver community. And he said to me, Mike, I've got a Silicon analog just up the highway. And it's like, okay, Patty, let's take this and let's start doing it. But what attracted it to me to it is in the Walker Lane, there's actually dozens of calderas, and these calderas are proving to be varyingly fruitful in terms of mineral endowment. The biggest is Round Mountain. It's a caldera margin, and it's Kinross's flagship in Nevada, and I believe the numbers are something like it's a 30 million ounce deposit when you add it all up. There's several others, and the new discovery is Anglo Gold's Silicon. That's the caldera immediately to the south of us. And what is interesting, and then there's Centerra to the north of us at Goldfield. Those two calderas are fertile. The one in the middle has never been drilled. And the alteration that you see at surface, it's a steam heated silica alteration cap. It's the biggest alteration of all the caldera margin plays in the Walker Lane, and it's never been drilled. So it's a really easy thing. To the south of us, new discovery, steam heated alteration cap, mercury anomaly at surface, 4 million ounces. To the north of us, it's buried, but it's a caldera margin thing, 4 million ounces. All over the Walker Lane, you see these alteration assemblages on these caldera margins, and you get a serious endowment of gold. This
Well,
one's never
I
been
think
drilled.
I think you're selling Silicon Merlin short. I think they're talking about easily over 10 once they add Merlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I talked to the Anglo Gold guys. They were wandering around and they were like, stay tuned for the resource update.
Yeah.
They were saying 4.22 on Silicon, and Merlin, what they've said publicly is 6 to 8, but the numbers are coming out soon.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, and this is the first maiden on Merlin, so the gravity has switched to Merlin. I
yeah,
think Silicon's probably defined, but Merlin was the one that's closer to the Corvus property that they bought to the south. That one looks to be bigger. And again, those are only two of the other targets that they've got on this land package.
Yeah, and what they've said to me is, and when I look at Merlin on the map, is it crosses the border between Anglo Gold, Corvus, and us, Northern Empire, back in the day. So they needed to consolidate that land package to make it fruitful. One of the things that came out of that talk that Patty and I were at a few years ago was that they were actually stopping engineering because they didn't know, to your point, where the center of gravity was for the Beatty district. I mean, the Sterling property has got great potential. What they got from Corvus has got great potential. They've got 4 million ounces. They're probably, if you're going to forgive a geologist here, they're probably on to 20 million ounces back down there. What we've got to the north, we just staked 44 square kilometers of something that looks like it could be silicon or could be bigger than silicon, but we have to get out there and get drilling and get going on it.
Okay, so with respect to how you're getting going on this, well, what's your idea right now?
So right now, we did all the boot work last year. We did the geophysics, we did the soil sampling, and we did the mapping. And what it gave us was a 2.6 square kilometer mercury and soil anomaly, what you're looking at for the indication of a deposit at depth, up to 7 grams per ton mercury in soils. We did the structure, we did the IP. The IP gave us a 6 kilometer long structural corridor, that caldera margin that we were looking for. And where you get cross structures, that's where you get their soil anomaly. So you're getting a nice X marks the spot. And so we went out there and we permitted 10 sites for drilling. It took about 20 days to get the permits. And then we're looking to be going, I believe it's the 26th of February that we're looking to have the rig on site.
Okay, and I think you were talking offline about 5,000 odd meters.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at as a 5,000 meter program. We're gonna go with RC first, and there you can debate. I mean, you're a geologist just like me, whether it's core or RC. RC gives you more holes, core gives you more data. But right now the question is gold or no gold, and then we have to work a bit more once we get that question answered, then we'll start to get into the more complicated questions, structural controls and all the other stuff.
Okay, and so this program's going to start February 26th. And so what do you think the assay turnaround is right now in
what I was hearing out of the labs when they were in town for the conferences is they're looking about 6 weeks. So we're looking at probably call it a 6-week program to get everything done, all the drilling done, and then 6 weeks of turnaround. We'll probably be looking at our first assays, if I had to guess, late April, early May, and that might be just the first hole. So we'll see where it gets to. One of the challenges and interesting things about Cuprite is it's never been drilled. So we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. Is this going to be easy drilling, whether it's RC and just blast a hole down very quickly, or are we going to be in for a fight? And we don't know because it's never been done. So we've hired an experienced contractor out of Nevada. We've got a good geological team on the ground, so we'll be able to make snap decisions if we need to. But it's going to be, we're going to have to just feel our way into this thing.
So how many targets? I mean, it's a big land package. So how many sort of distinct targets are you going to be trying to hit with this?
In my mind, there is the overall soil anomaly, which is 2.6 square kilometers. And it looks like, based on our mapping, that there is 2 structural intercepts where the north-southers of the caldera margin and a series of east-westers come together. So that makes the overall target. In my fantasy, I'd like to see holes into those structural intercepts because I think that you could actually get some nice high-grade shoots developing. A little bit of structure is good. A little bit more is better. You don't want too much, but whatever. But I think that those X marks the spots would be really possible to key in as high grade shoots within a deposit. But we're also just shooting at that ring structure, so you're looking at more of a panel. So it's a big target, but I think that there's some possibilities for high grade plums in there, which would be, if we get ourselves into a mining scenario, starter pits or high grade areas within an overall deposit.
So in terms of your 10 holes odd, that you're talking 5,000 meters if they are 10, what kind of area would that cover? Like 400, 500
North,
kilometers?
south, east, west, you're probably looking at 1.5 square kilometers.
Okay. And so in terms of these are 250 meter spacing, or it depends where you are?
Right now, it's 3 fences that are 300 meters apart, so called a kilometer, and then we back off to the east, probably another 500 meters along those fences.
Right. Oh, giving you the 500 times 300 to get the 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, well, thanks very much, Mike. So we have drilling coming up, and then
Yep.
this is obviously Nevada, so that's nice. And for gold, in a market that proximal to a major discovery, a blind discovery
Yeah.
by Anglo Gold Ashanti at the Silicon Merlin deposit in the Walker Lane Belt near Beatty, Nevada. Okay, so that's it for me. Joe Mazumdar from Exploration Insights at the January Metals Investment Forum with Mike Allen of Strikepoint, drilling a Merlin lookalike or a Silicon Merlin lookalike in the Walker Lane Belt. Thank you very much, Mike.
No problem, Joe. Thanks for the time.